So good evening everyone, and welcome to our first session for the course Agentic AI. I hope all of you are able to see me also.
Yeah, you're visible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So first thing first, let's have a quick rundown of the agenda that we are going to cover today. And I parked our introduction for a little later. We will right away start the this course, and then we'll have a round of introduction. We'll have a demo in between. We will then go for the coding also. Okay. So what are we going to learn today? So today we are going to start with the big picture. What are AI agents? How do they differ from the traditional software? How do AI agents matter today more than ever before? And why should you care about this? We will also go and set up some of the tools. And then today, and by the end of today's session, we will have a coding warm up so that you can know that what is coming ahead. We will have a small task implemented. Okay, sounds good. So I see that couple of guys don't have their videos on. I recommend that all the participants should start their video so we can have a natural communication. I see the Ritesh is video is on, and Arvindo, yes. Please switch on your video. Shashwat is also has started. Rolando has also started his video. Sujit, Pramita. Okay, Ankit is also live. All right, good. So good to see your faces. Basically, it gives us a more closer bonding as we are entering into a 2 months long journey into Agentic AI. So the first thing is to have a strong bonding between the participants and the trainer. So video is must for that. Okay. Now let's start our today's discussion with a little demo. Okay. So I have, if you see, I have a device in front of me. You see what is this?
Alexa.
It's Alexa. It's Amazon Alexa. Let's have a quick demo of what this Alexa is capable of doing, and then we will come back to our course and we'll see that how the things are happening in the agentic world. Okay. Before I show the Alexa demo, let me ask this question. Have you tried Apple Siri or any other chatbot or Alexa before? Have you experienced conversation with these devices or chatbot?
Yeah, I mean, we keep asking our questions and get all the answers.
Yeah, with what device, Pramita?
Alexa.
Okay. Anybody else who want to respond? Ahan, Rupendra.
I use Google Assistant a lot of time in
Google
my mobile.
Assistant. Okay. Ritesh has used Google Assistant a lot of time. Yes.
Yes, I also used Google Assistant.
Okay.
Now it's Gemini.
All right. So when do you interact with those devices? What do you think about the interaction that happens with those devices? Maybe your Alexa or your Google Assistant. Do you think that they are smart enough?
I think the main point is like they don't maintain the context. So
they don't maintain the context. Okay.
So whatever you ask them at first, so they would not maintain that context. And you ask the next question on it, then you will have to repeat it from the beginning, everything.
Yeah.
So. All right. Okay.
And not
Any other
always,
observation?
not always it gives the, I mean, for example, let's say I wanted to listen a song and I will say that it not always pick up the correct song. Or in fact, let's say I wanted in Google Assistant, I found out, okay, let's say I wanted to visit a place and tell me, okay, top 10 3 things to look into. Uh, some of the times he could not understand, okay, the place, or some of the times the suggestions was not great. I
All right.
find out that in the Google Assistant.
Okay. Okay. All right. So all of you, I consider that all of you have experienced with some of these devices or a website-based chatbot. Maybe the simplistic would be your internet service provider or with the telecom operators, they also have the chatbots. So it is very common these days. Okay, let's see that what this Alexa is able to do. So you see Alexa, there is a red light currently on. It basically indicating that Alexa is currently not listening. It is in the silent mode. Those who have experienced Alexa, they would know this. So now I'm going to press this and it will show me, it has basically the red light has gone and now it is ready to listen my voice command. So I'm going to say to it to play the latest news. All right, Alexa, play the flash briefing.
Getting your flash briefing. From BBC World Service.
Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. More than 10,000 people have fled Sudan's largest refugee camp over the past 2 days after an attack by members of the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Doctors
Alexa,
Without
stop.
Borders.
Okay, now let's try a little more complex thing, but more day-to-day useful thing. For example, I would now ask it to add a event in my calendar on a particular date, and let's see whether Alexa is able to do it or not. Alexa, add an event for the 17th April at 6:30 p.m.
Sure. And what's the name of the event?
Lecture to Agentic AI.
Okay, I've added that.
Okay, now it is saying that it has added. Let's go ahead and ask, verify whether it has really added the event into the calendar, and then what it says about what is that event. Alexa, what do I have in calendar on 17th April?
On Thursday, the 17th of April, there is one event. At 6:30 p.m. there's lecture to Agent AI.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so we noted couple of things here, that when I asked it to play the news, it has correctly played the latest news. Also, when I asked it to add an event to the calendar, it recognized the date, the time, it added the event, the title of the event, and then when I asked it to retrieve a particular retrieve the calendar entry on a particular day, it was able to do it. Okay. Now, what do you think about this interaction? Do you think that Alexa is smart? Can we say that it is doing some intelligence activity? Some
Yeah,
intelligence is exhibited?
yeah.
Okay, Ritesh is saying
But
yes. Okay.
but it is derived or drive by a predefined set of questions.
Okay. So Ritesh is saying that there are predefined questions or set of tasks out of which the Alexa is picking up and giving the answer. Okay. Anybody else? See, today in the first class, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. And in the subsequent classes, the questions will come from you as part of the curiosity. I am asking the question to connect with you, all right, to make you open up and connect with me, ask questions, ask your doubt, feel free in the class. All right, so what do you think, Rupendra, Shashwat, Ankit, Ahan, Rolando? What do you think about the interaction we had with Alexa? Do you think that this is smart? Some form of intelligence is exhibited by Alexa?
I think
Yeah.
it's doesn't have its own intelligence. Rather, it's deriving the data or the answers, like Ritesh said, based on the available content. But taking a decision or maybe creating its own data or content, I don't think Alexa is equipped to do that.
All right.
I,
Okay. What do you think, Ahan?
Sir, it is smart, but not that
Yeah,
smart enough.
Rupendra, you can speak little loudly.
It is smart, but not that smart enough. With some content helps.
It is smart, but not that smart. Okay. So it is smart. We can consider there is some smartness is there. Okay.
I think for this particular instance, it was smart enough. Like it was able to follow your command and it was able to do the map the event into your calendar at a specific time and all, right? So I think for this particular instance, maybe it was smart enough to whatever you asked, it was able to do that.
Okay.
Maybe if we try something more complex, it might be not that be intelligent. But I think for this one, it was kind of okay. I think to me.
All right. Okay. So all of your answers are more or less correct, that it is able to exhibit intelligence to some extent, but not the intelligence that we consider as a agency in the sense something that can reason, that can think, that can gather information, make decisions. So that form of agency, or say the AI agency, is not exhibited properly. At least we haven't explored it much. Now, I would not take the Alexa again and try, but I have tried it, and those who have tried it at home, they would know that if I start asking complex questions or ask the question in a complex way, Alexa would not be able to understand it. Okay, it will simply say that I didn't get what you mean. Sometimes it will understand the question incorrectly, and instead of doing activity X, it will do activity Y. So that also happens. Okay. Now, the Alexa that I had in my hand is basically an early example of an AI agent. Okay. From the today's context, we can say that it is still very advanced. I will tell you how. Okay. Now, this AI agent is not just sitting there like a traditional software and doing the routine work. It can act on our behalf. I give it an instruction and it is able to execute that instruction. Okay. Now, but it is still, as I mentioned earlier, that it is still not able to reason. It is not able to understand the complex instructions. And as I think the Nitin had correctly mentioned, that it has limited skills to execute. It can't do, for example, a booking in a restaurant for a particular time and a particular place in India, because it has only a particular service connected, which probably doesn't deal with several places in India. It doesn't understand the Indian dishes, the taste, the preferences. Okay. Now, I have another question, because we all are either having some AI experience, professional career. In our professional career, we have been working on AI, or we want to develop our professional career in AI. So it would make sense to ask this question: what do you think about the Alexa software? Could you figure out some of the AI tasks and the other software things that it has just exhibited? Yes, go ahead.
so when we are asking a question, it gives us the answer. Um, so, like yeah, it's like derived from the data that is being input to Alexa, but it's forming the answer on its own based on the all the data available.
That is about the interaction and input output. But what are the this time my question is more about the software part, the behind the scene, the internals of Alexa. By the interaction, could you identify that what are the AI related things happening here?
I don't think there is anything AI related behind the scenes. Probably it's just a chatbot, maybe
Okay,
built with a predefined set of questions, maybe using Rasa or something. But I don't think there is anything. I don't know the model that you are using. Maybe the newer ones have something with AI built in. But the ones that even I have been using the Model 3 and all. I think they don't have any AI capabilities as such. They are purely a chatbot, I think.
okay. So what you are saying is third generation Alexa EcoBot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, all right. Nitin is saying that
Generating,
probably, yeah, Pratima, go ahead.
sorry.
Pramita, sorry.
I
Yeah.
think the latest version is able to
Pramita.
generate content. See, I haven't, I don't use it very frequently, but we have one. I think the latest version is able to generate content. If it's able to generate content on its own, might be using Gen AI, some kind of Gen AI agents.
All right. Okay. So she is saying that in her, according to her experience with her Alexa device, Alexa is generating certain sentences. Probably they are dynamic sentences. So Alexa is basically, at least the sentence is converted into voice. Alexa understood my voice, then responded accordingly. Um,
No,
I think
I
there is
mean,
some AI is going on.
yeah, in my experience, let's say when I ask for, okay, what is the weather, or let's say, tell me the anatomy of a hand or a finger, or any type of question, I think what it does, it just go to the internet, because it has to connect to the internet. It goes to a internet, and just like any human being, it just mimic and do a Google search, and the best result, whatever it gets, based on that, it just read out that content.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's pause here and what Ritesh has mentioned is makes sense according to what the Alexa has done.
One
Makes
more.
sense. Yes,
One,
Paramita.
yeah. I think Alexa is also able to recognize the persons. I mean, at my place, I have seen. See, going forward from today onwards, I will try to use Alexa more often. Usually, it's being used by my kid, but I have seen that if he asks something, it can recognize that, okay, that is my kid, or whether it's me. If Alexa is able to recognize and differentiate people, that means definitely there is some additional intelligence built in. uh, AI or Gen AI, it's built in.
Okay. So let's take a step back and start from the first thing that we had. When I took the Alexa in my hand, I gave it an instruction. That was my first contact with the Alexa. I said, Alexa, play the flash briefing. Now, when I said this, Alexa got it what I am saying. Okay, that means my speech was, now before it played the BBC News, my speech, whatever I said, it was able to identify that I have not asked it to play music from Spotify. I have not asked it to add entry into the calendar. I have asked it to play news. So it was able to differentiate what I am saying. The voice command that I gave, it was able to differentiate that what I am asking it to do. So there is, if we consider this first step, there is a speech recognition happening. Right? Automatic speech recognition is happening. That is the first point of AI contact, that we see that there is a AI. Speech recognition is AI activity basically. Right?
Right.
So that is one thing. What else? So I have given now one answer, one clue I have basically that in this, the first step was related to AI, speech recognition. Now think
Yeah, maybe
through
then.
and try to identify other parts, other AI related tasks that it has executed. Sujit?
Yeah, maybe it is converting the speech to some kind of text or something. Then it is going to search in the
Good.
internet.
Yes, that makes sense. But let's hold here. You said that it has converted the speech into text and then it is going on the internet. But where on the internet? It's a vast place. How do I decide that where I have to go on the internet?
So there is a chat model.
There is a
So there is
chart
a chat
model.
model where it go, and from that,
Could you be a
whatever the
little
data
loud,
that
Rupendra?
sir, it go to the chat model, and the chat whatever the data the chat model was trained from that it will fetch the answer and give to us.
Okay, okay. Anybody else who want to add to the what Rupendra said? I am again giving you a hint to think through. So when I gave the speech, it converted into text, as what Sujit mentioned. Then Sujit said that from there it went to the internet to get the information. Let's say BBC News. But the question comes, how did it know that I am interested in news? It has converted into text, but internet is vast. It just, do you think that it has just placed the text into the Google search and then Google search gave the 10 results and it picked up the first result and then just played it? The first result could be a normal text also. It was a live news.
Yeah, maybe I am requesting the same question almost all the days. So because of that, it has got some memory and he might be knowing what is my next question or something like that.
Okay. I am again
I
holding on.
think,
Yeah.
no,
We are
I
we are
think
we are moving 3 steps ahead in our journey to understand its software, how the interaction is happening. I am at this place that once it has got my speech into text, what is there in that speech? What is there in the text? The text has a sentence, 1 or 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, that sentences has certain words. Now, with this hint, can you get some AI related thing that you see happening here?
Yeah,
Yeah, please
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah.
I think right after the speech to text, then the AI part is the Alexa is identifying the user's intent,
Good.
like
Hmm.
what the user is trying to ask, like the topic and like that.
All right. So what Rolando has said, that makes sense. From the sentence, Alexa is trying to find out what is my intent, what are the entities present in the sentence. Whether I am asking for the news, I am asking for the hotel reservation, I am asking for the weather information, I am asking for the calendar event. It identified my intent. Further, it identified the entity what I am looking for. It can even identify that what particular emotion I am asking for. It can identify whether it is related to whether I am asking for to play a relaxing music, whether I'm asking it to play some debate or some children's music. So it is in the sentence, it is able to pick up those things. That is another AI task, another AI related thing that is happening here. Okay, identifying the intent, identifying the entities. Our large language models that we are going to use throughout this course and you might be using every day is basically doing, those LLMs are also doing this thing. They are also able to pick up what is your intent, what kind of character we ask LLM to act as, whether LLM should reply as a child, as a housewife, as a celebrity, as a sports person, as a politician. So accordingly then the LLM gives us a reply. Okay, so that activity is also behind the scene happening through AI. All right. Now let's go ahead.
In short, Bina, you are saying the prompt generation is also this kind of AI is used.
Correct. Prompt generation is a AI activity. We will have a very long session on this particular thing, and I will come back to. We will have a good discussion around that. What Ritesh I just now mentioned. Okay. Now let's do a little drill down into the Alexa's capabilities. So what you see here is a basically classic voice processing pipeline, because the model that I have is third generation. What I have showed you is a third generation Alexa, basically Alexa Echo Dot, and in this, what you see on the screen is a simplified voice processing pipeline that is happening, and most of the things that are mentioned here are all AI activity, basically. For example, wake word detection. Alexa is always listening locally for its wake word Alexa. Whenever I say Alexa, it automatically the blue light comes, giving us an indication that it is listening now. Okay. Once the wake word is detected, the audio stream is sent to the cloud. Whatever then I speak after waking it up, my speech is collected and it is sent to the cloud, the nearest edge cloud. Like within Hyderabad, for example, what is the nearest place where the Amazon may have put its ASR? There, the speech to text, the automatic speech recognition thing happens, and for example, if I have said Alexa play relaxing music, it becomes play relaxing music. So basically a speech to text happens from where it simplifies the sentence from what the ASR has given. Then the third thing, natural language understanding, NLU, that is also an AI task. Text is analyzed to extract the intent and entities. For example, playing music is an intent. My intention is to play the music. An entity that I am looking for, the genre is relaxing. Okay, my intent is to add the event, calendar event. That is my intent. Then the entity could be a particular date. Okay. Then it has skill matching and execution. These are the skills basically that Amazon has built into these Alexa devices, that these Alexa devices are able to do these 50 different things. Okay. So Alexa routes the intent to relevant skill, like the music skill or calendar skill. The skill performs the task by connecting to the third-party service, for example, Google Calendar or Spotify, or some weather service website through their API. And then whatever the information it gets from those APIs, it converts, it again identifies the right entities that it wants to inform me back. It converts that text to speech and tells me. Okay, so these are you can see that these 5 major things. This is a simplified view. If you go in detail of it like nearly some 70-80 things are happening here. Okay, so these 5 things, the 5 steps that I have mentioned here, they are all AI related tasks. Without AI, the wake word detection itself would not be possible. Whether I am saying hello or Alexa, how do you differentiate? Okay. So there is a image also where we see that how the flow of information is happening here. Okay. I hope so far you are with me. You are able to get what we have introduced so far. Do you have any question, any query?
No, we are fine.
Okay. Why other people are silent? Arvindo, Shashwat, Ankit, Ahan. Now this time I want, like, in next 10 minutes, these 4 guys should ask some question, or should at least make their microphone on and communicate with me. All right? Okay. Now let's go ahead and make our understanding crystal clear and concretize our understanding about what basically a AI agent has done. or is basically is capable of doing. So let's take a analogy of a travel agent. Okay. Now think about a human assistant, a travel agent, and you go to a travel agent and you ask for, hey, plan a 5 day trip to J&K and Ladakh. It's a summer vacation coming, and you just give your preferences like your tentative travel dates, your budget, your food preferences, your co-travelers like your family with kids younger than 10 years, and then we leave it to the travel agent to reason, to plan, to gather information, book the travel, send the tickets via email or WhatsApp. Okay, this is how usually we interact with a travel agent. All right, we don't go and micromanage a travel agent. We don't say that, hey, on this day you have to take Indigo flight morning 8 o'clock, book a extra luggage, and then book ticket for 4 guys at the airport, book a yellow cab from this place to this hotel. If you are micromanaging, then travel agents will say that, hey, why don't you book yourself? Why are you coming to me if you have entire thing already crystal clear? So we don't go and micromanage. We just give our plan. We just give our preferences, and then leave it to the travel agent to figure out that how he can accommodate. He will be able to accommodate all of our preferences and will be able to deliver the task that we have asked. Right? Okay. This is what the era we are entering into. This is where the agentic AI is going into. The Alexa that I have showed is an early day, or you can say a decade old agentic AI thing, but it is remarkable, still remarkable. So many things, AI related stuff it has been able to do. Okay. But now we are entering into the time where reasoning, decision making, gathering information from diverse sources, asking for more information, if there are any multiple options, finding out the best option, all of this is done by the agent. All right. Now if we just hold our thoughts for some time and look back, the Alexa that I have showed you or the real world analogy that I have given you, and if we convert that into software, how complex the things could be. Giving the instruction and preferences and converting those preferences into a well-defined, a properly articulated step-by-step schedule for the travel, hotels according to the preferences, food, there is a family, there is a child, according to selecting the places to visit. All of this done, if it is done autonomously, we can imagine that how complex that such a software, such a system could be. But thankfully we have some agentic frameworks that will make our life somewhat easy. Okay, it would be, if I have to tell to my mother or my parents, then for them it would be like, oh, too much of things you are asking us to do. But for us who are basically want to be a professional AI engineer, or able to execute AI projects, monitor AI projects, give the leadership on an AI project, or manage a team of AI developers, machine learning developers, then for us it is important to understand the nitty-gritty of this complexity, and then see how much the agentic AI frameworks are able to provide us, and if there are certain areas where the restrictions are there or implementation is not there, how can I use my coding skills, my ability to create modularized software to extend that framework and deliver the task. Okay, so we are kind of different species. We are not a normal LLM users. Our journey is going to be a more uphill than the normal layman who is just opening the chat GPT, writing the prompt and getting the answer and happy. We have to actually do a lot of things through coding and through custom development. Ahan, does this make sense? You can
Yes, sir.
maybe speak a little loudly. Ankit?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ankit, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. Okay, fine. Now, let's formally understand what a AI agent basically is. Okay, I will be showing you a broad definition of an AI agent, and then certain words that are appearing in definition, we will drill down onto that. The reason for drilling down on those words is because going forward, we have to implement those functionalities. Okay. A generic definition of an AI agent is, or a broad definition of AI agent is, it is a autonomous, sometimes semi-autonomous, depending on how complex your task is, a autonomous entity capable of perceiving its environment. All the words which are italic: autonomous, perceiving its environment, making decision, and taking action. Let me zoom it if you are finding it difficult to read this. And taking action to achieve specific objective. Okay, so there is autonomous, perceiving, decision making, taking action. All these things are there, and for us, it basically means that, hey, we have to implement these things in an AI agent. Okay, so in order to be able to implement this, let's understand what these words basically mean. Okay, with some examples. All right. Before I go into traditional software, let's look at this, the autonomy part. The traditional software versus AI agents, the autonomy part. The traditional software basically follows a strict pre-programmed rules or explicit instructions to handle different situations. Okay, you will mention that go to this website, find the weather for this particular city. If you change something in your instruction, then your software will not be able to do it. A traditional software has a strict rules, if else conditions, calling of the function, passing the particular parameters. If you have a REST API, how many of you know what is a REST API? Is there anybody who doesn't understand what is a REST API? Then I can spend a couple of seconds and then explain it and then go back to the main.
Mr. Kudu, please explain.
Yeah, I think
I
if you
cannot
can
understand.
explain, because there are some, freshers also here.
Okay, all right. REST API basically means that a API basically application programming interface. If you have an application or a service running on a remote server, you want to interact with it. It says that, hey, you can send me a network request, a HTTP request. You can send me. You have to use the protocol HTTP, and you have to send what you are looking for. What is your resource? What action you want to do? You want to get some information. You want to give me post some information. You want to make some changes, that you want to put some information into the server, or you want to delete something. What you want to do, to tell me by sending a HTTP request. I have explained what I have mentioned is a very crude, or as you can say, it's a simplified explanation of a REST API. So a traditional software, if you make changes into that, what the other service is looking for, that you will provide parameter X, Y, Z, you have to provide parameter X, Y, Z in the same order. If you change the order, if you add a fourth parameter, the REST API will say, sorry, I don't understand what you are asking. Okay, there is a fixed set of rules, there is a fixed architecture, there is a fixed specification that is given according to what the traditional software work. But when it comes to AI agent, it can operate on some degree of independence is there. Okay, by leveraging AI, by adopting on the fly. Okay, for example, if I ask what is the weather today, now a traditional software will say that for which city you are asking. Okay, whereas the AI agent will find out what is the current context. If the current context location is not available, what was the historical context? It will go into the memory. Was the same person asked the similar question earlier? If yes, he will take that location and will give the answer. So there is some form of independence is there. All right. Then the second is perception. Traditional software does not perceive in an active sense. It processes the data explicitly fed to it by a user or a system without interpreting or seeking the context. Well, when we say that perceiving something is basically that in active sense, that I am getting it what you are saying. I am perceiving my environment. I'm getting it what I am looking at. Okay. Traditional softwares basically do not perceive in any active sense. Whatever data that you have given, accordingly it will work. What that data means, what is the intent, what is the entity, it doesn't understand anything. For a traditional software, this categorization of different entities, different intents do not make sense. You have to provide a specific rules, then only it would make sense. It doesn't understand that a calendar, the words that are related to calendar could be, let's say, an event, or probably the words, for example, we can say that a diary event, a task for today. These are all basically context related to calendar. When it comes to AI, there is a topic that we will explore in detail in the upcoming classes called embeddings. This particular context will be helpful. AI basically tries to get the semantic of what the words basically mean, and where they are there in the universe of all the words, all the sentences that are there. What I am saying is, where is that located in that whole context? Okay. So in the upcoming classes, we will have a more detailed understanding of what basically active sense means. Okay. Whereas the AI agent, basically it has the ability to actively gather, interpret the data from its environment. It may involve processing natural language, analyzing images, or monitoring real-time data. It contextualizes and the information dynamically. Then this third point is reasoning. Traditional software operates on fixed logic rules defined by its developer, doesn't reason beyond executing its programmed instructions. AI agent analyzes and draws conclusions, make decisions based on the logic, patterns, or learned behavior. Okay. Let's say if I give a instruction to a AI agent that book 7 p.m. slot, or book a table at 7 p.m. in the Taj hotel, it will do it for me. But what if the restaurant is closed? It will try to find the alternative and will suggest me the alternative. A traditional software may not do that. Okay. So it has the reasoning ability. It is able to draw the conclusions from the data that is given. And then the fourth is action. This is very important, especially in the context of automation, agentic automation, AI agent-driven automation. So traditional software performs action only when explicitly triggered by a user or a system event. Actions are limited to its programmed scope, whereas AI agents takes proactive steps to achieve a goal or respond to its environment, and that is often in real time. If I have a video file, it is possible through ChatGPT that if you upload a video file and you say that trim the first 4 seconds of video, it is able to do that. Okay, it is not just the LLM. LLM has understood what the prompt I have given, identified what the action is, chose the proper tool to do the editing of the things. Then in the sentence, how many seconds from the beginning or from the end, 4 seconds of audio, where you want to edit, it will edit it and give. There is the action part. Okay, selecting the right tool to accomplish the task. It could be booking a restaurant. It could be asking for a loan. It could be informing the car servicing, the workshop, that tomorrow morning 8 o'clock you are going to drop your car for the servicing. It will book a slot. All of these things the agent will be able to do. So identifying the action is another thing that makes the AI agent different from the traditional software. Okay, but it doesn't mean that traditional softwares are dead. Ultimately, the coding skills or the ability to do all of these things using software is basically still traditional.
One question, Vinay.
Yeah.
So Vinay, but in the traditional software, my getting the result is 100% accurate, right? For example, if I'm using I'm a Java guy, I mean, I'm from Java background. So if I'm using a class and method, either it will give me the result or it will throw me an exception saying that, okay, this is it.
Right.
But in the AI side, even though it is more powerful, I don't know whether this result is 100% accurate, isn't it? So, so yes, I mean, even though that particular portion coding I have not done in my code, but in AI side, I can basically prompt it and get the result because it's dynamically create and understand my command and give me the result. But my question is it which one is 100% accurate, or both of them are not reliable, or both are reliable?
Okay, very good question. If we are working with AI, this is a very common question that we face, that occurs to our mind, that if AI is not able to give 100% correct answer, then why should I use it? Number one. Number two, what I am using or what I am developing the traditional softwares, when they are able to give me accurate answers, then why the AI is basically would make sense to be implemented as an enterprise software for the mission critical activities. Now I give this answer to this question, I give the answer in a little different way. Think about a whole universe of solutions that are possible. Okay, there are certain pockets of solutions which work in the binary case. Either the get request, post request, or the calling of the method of a particular class would be successful, or it will raise certain exception. Okay, there is a binary thing. It could be ternary also, depending on the use case. So there is a class of softwares in the whole universe of software solutions which work on a particular state. There are predefined states. Beyond it, they cannot go. All right. But world doesn't operate in that way. Okay, there is a shades, there is a gray area is there. For example, if exception has occurred, the traditional software will say that raise the exception, let the user to decide. An AI agent will say that, okay, what's the exception? It will look at the message that is thrown, error message that is thrown, and will try to see if it can fix. For example, database not reachable. Okay, it will see if there is any other way to reach to the database. Is there any other node to which it can connect? So that is where the reasoning part is that is there. Okay, now that is number one. Number two, suppose you have assume that you have a image where hills are shown. Okay, some mountains are shown. One mountain, and behind it there is another mountain, and third mountain, and then small peaks are there. Is there any way in traditional software to recognize that this is a hill? There is no way.
No.
Because that the data that I am handling is not deterministic. Okay, it is changing, and the changes are so many, and it could be dynamic. Today I am looking at a flower which is fresh. After 2 days, it is not fresh. The composition is basically the flower, the petals are not looking fresh. So the radius of the total, the perimeter, everything will change. If I use the traditional programming, everything will change, and the traditional software will not work. So there is a whole set of solution space in the universe of software solutions that exist that are probabilistic in nature. Okay, where a particular thing happening or not happening is not binary, but it has a certain score. That a image that is shown a skin rashes, a patch image, the skin patch image that is shown to the AI machine, it is able to see that what is the probability that this could be cancerous or it could be non-cancerous. In traditional software, we don't have any way. In fact, there is no such mathematical formula that exists. There is no analytical solution. Those who come from math background, as I am briefed that there are a lot of students, participants who have math background, there is no analytical solution exist, or there is no straightforward formula exist in which if I put the xy value, I will get the answer that this is cancerous, this is non-cancerous. This is a hill, this is a river, this is a tree, this is a bird. There is no such formula exist. Okay, but if we have to develop software for such kind of things, then in the universe of software solutions, there is a class of solution for which intelligence is required, where rule-based things do not work. The 4 decades, 3 decades back, AI systems were most of the AI systems were rule-based, expert systems or rule-based systems, where predefined things were there and accordingly the software used to work. The early days of AI. So I hope I am able to convey to what the Ritesh asked, that traditional software, even though they can give 100%, almost all the time they will give you the right answer or will do the exactly same thing even if you ask millions of times. But in AI, it is not guaranteed. You write a prompt today to the ChatGPT, and after 2 days you write the same prompt to ChatGPT, it will give different answers. Okay, because there is a dynamicity is there is a gray area is there, and LLMs are probability driven.
Yeah, I think there would be specific use cases also, right? When I like for the traditional software, suppose there is any requirement that's coming in, right? We would evaluate that requirement and the use case, whether that use case is a fit for implementation using traditional methods, or it needs anything from the AI perspective to be explored. If that particular use case we are able to do using any of our traditional code development processes, or any traditional code development methods, I think the inclination would be towards using the traditional ways only if there is no need in that particular case use case to go for any AI related implementation, right? Because as you are saying, the authenticity, I'm not sure if you have ever been questioned by any of your, maybe if in your experience, any of your AI implementations or something, by any of your maybe clients or something, whether how to justify the authenticity of an answer or a resolution or a solution that AI application is giving to us. So I think whenever a case study would come in, or whenever a use case would come in, we will from a client perspective, or any even from an architect perspective, or from a perspective of somebody who is going to propose solutions, we will have to evaluate whether that use case is going to be a fit for a usage of AI, or it could be a good fit for a traditional way, and it could be easily be done using any traditional way. So maybe they would be saving money also, right? AI would be expensive for them to implement. I'm not sure, I'm just asking this.
Yes, it makes sense. See, there are range of applications. It also depends on the value of the result that is generated. How valuable is that result? For what purpose the software is used? If it is, let's say, for a nuclear reactor, probably we would be very, 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 very careful in using traditional versus AI. Okay, we don't want any hallucination or misunderstandings happening there. We probably may not want a agentic AI to take certain decisions based on its understanding to operate in a nuclear reactor, okay, or a power plant, okay, or a medicine formulation. All right, so it depends on the criticality, the importance of things. That is number one. Number two, as I mentioned, in the universe of solutions that are possible, there are in the today's time, there are lots of business applications, there are lots of client requirements are coming which are not satisfiable using the traditional software. Okay, so AI makes sense there, where the traditional software do not make any progress. Okay, let's say identifying the vehicles passing through a junction or passing through a signal, whether the vehicle is a scooter or a car or a bus or a truck or a auto rickshaw. What kind of vehicle is this? If you want a statistic of it, traditional software doesn't offer any way. Okay, whereas the AI based system, if it gives you the reading, it gives you the count of each category of these automobiles, each category of these vehicles, and it says that, okay, let's say actually the 1,000 buses have passed through that signal in last 7 days. Instead of actually 1,000, let's say it says that 997. You're still fine, right? So business cases, that is the first thing. Another is the AI related software basically making inroads, as I mentioned, that lots of new business cases are coming up where traditional softwares do not make sense. You cannot make any progress through traditional software. Criticality where it is not important, recognizing emotion, recommending certain products. Some of these things have well-defined signs. They are repeatability. There is repeatability in AI. AI is also basically it's a broad thing. There are certain algorithms which are repeatable. If you repeat those things, same result is going to come. There are black box kind of things are also there, where you don't have any explainability or a good degree of explainability to sell it to the client. That hey, if a particular application, loan application would be rejected or is rejected because of these 10 reasons. There are AI models which will basically you won't have those 10 steps to explain to the client that why the particular application was rejected. There are black box kind of things are also there, and there are other algorithms are also there which are explainable. There is a science and maths, crystal clear things are there. If you just execute by hand, you are going to get the same result what the AI has given. For example, decision tree. It's one of the most preferred algorithm, even though it doesn't compete, it not able to compete with the deep learning kind of solution. But decision tree is one of the most preferred solution where explainability of your solution is the highest. Okay, because the math that is behind it is very precise. Every time you execute that math, you are going to get the same result. But without it, traditional software cannot do anything. Okay, so that is where as I said, that on the universe of possible software solution, we are coming into the era where a new kind of solution space is now becoming visible. Earlier we had the focus light on only the rule-based, specification-driven, tightly coupled or tightly specified goal-oriented thing. But here now we are looking at another set of software, another set of applications that are possible, where things are not crystal clear, where decisions are dynamic, because data itself is dynamic. Okay. Now, when it comes to the client, if you have to explain to the client that what kind of software would be useful, then look at the nature of the problem. I would say that put little more attention onto the nature of the problem, kind of input output data that you are going to get. If data has certain pattern, AI would be AI, and that pattern is not just one or two possible patterns, or let's say 10 patterns that are possible and 11th pattern is not possible. If that kind of thing is there, go for traditional. That 10 patterns are there, the traditional software would be able to do something there. But if the pattern that you are getting is highly dynamic, then other than AI, currently we don't have any other way. So nature of the problem, the nature of the data that we are getting This tells us that what to offer to the client. Also, not always deep learning based solutions or generative AI based solutions are preferred. They are generally preferred where the risk is less. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope I am able to give the answer.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, if we talk about generative AI,
Uh,
then generative AI make new content like music
hmm.
or text, whatever we say. But if we compare it with agentic AI, then what is agentic AI is more than Gen AI. What are the key difference between the
Good question.
generative
Okay,
AI and
very good question. Generative AI is basically empowering or making the agentic AI go at full speed. Okay, the when I give any prompt to a AI agent doesn't understand itself that what that prompt means. It channelizes it to the generative AI application, that is your LLM. Okay, so think about agentic AI software as an interface between you and the LLM and the other possible tools. For example, video editing tool, photo editing tool, sending an email, sending a WhatsApp message, looking at your log files on the system, launching a new server, launching a new node in the in the cloud environment, or looking at your Excel sheet and doing the calculations of column number 10 and column number 11, writing the formula to merge these the numbers in those columns. These are all actions. Your agent will communicate, will interface with the LLM, and will be able to know what is the intent, which tool to use, what the person is asking for. It will, when some information is required, it will go and look into the memory. Okay, all of this is done using our AI agent. So generative AI is basically, you can say, it's a ground on which the agents are going to be built. Agents themselves do not have any intelligence. Agents coupled with your LLM brings the intelligence. So it's the advancement of LLMs that has made the AI agents go with full speed. Otherwise, this multi-agent system existed 3 decades back also. These agentic systems existed 3 decades back also, but they were very, very limited. Their scope was very limited. ASR was not that accurate. Text to speech, speech to text was not that accurate. Identifying the entities, intent, emotions, these things were not that accurate. Okay, so I hope I'm able to answer your question. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Sir, is the degree of autonomy of these AI agents depend only upon the nature of the problem?
We can constrain, we can put the guardrails around it, that what kind of, how much autonomy to give. Already experienced this, that, or basically I can see the things that are coming ahead in next few years, and you will also very soon, you will be through this course in next few weeks, you will be able to see that what is coming ahead in next few years. You will be able to see that these agents are becoming more and more and more autonomous, because the advancement into the LLMs that are happening, and around it the ecosystem of things that are developing will make it happen. Okay, that autonomy, how much autonomy to give, we can put a fencing around it, depending on criticality of your application. Okay, any other question?
Maybe a stupid question.
Yeah, no question is stupid. Welcome.
See, when I was going through some material through YouTube or from our organization side, two things initially, two things I try to understand, and maybe I brought down this question for betterment for everyone. One is, in GenAI, when I'm doing something, am I creating any new LLM? or I'm creating some agent or program using any existing LLM which is present in the market? So that question always comes in my mind when I start my journey. And second question is, see, right, every 3 months, 6 months, there is a new version, be it ChatGPT, or we have plethora of LLM model, right? Be it
Right.
OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Cloud, or Gemini, and all
Grok.
these things are there, right? So how do I know which LLM model? Maybe I'm asking this question in advance.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you will cover it later. But how do I choose which LLM to be used for my particular use case? I hope you understand
Yeah,
both
I
these
understood
components.
your question. This is a good question. In fact, I would say this is a very good question because it is seeking the clarity. Okay, so therefore this is a very good question. When we say that generative AI, when we say the LLM, generative AI, there are two kinds of, or in the broader sense, there are two kinds of, not AI, I would say machine learning things are, aspects are there. Two kinds of machine learnings are there. One is discriminative, another is generative. Discriminative is basically identifying, classifying the things, or something that can differentiate one data point with the from the another data point. Okay, discriminating. We say that in Hindi we say Vivek Buddhi, bringing the ability to discriminate what is a bus and what is a laptop, what is a orange, what is an apple, bringing the ability to differentiate, discriminate, classify, group things. These are all called, they all come into discriminative machine learning. Then there is another class called generative, where we are not interested in separating the things, classifying the things, discriminating the things. We are interested in creativity. We are not just interested in Vivek Buddhi, we are interested in ability to create with different faculties of that are required in the creation. Okay, for example, writing some new text, writing the text with a particular tone, choosing the particular, or writing the text for a particular domain, let's say a legal note, or let's say a medical prescription, or a poem or a story, creating an image. In this the generative AI, which the whole era of generative AI, or basically a strong push to generative AI, came in 2012 after the ImageNet experiment, where the AlexNet basically participated. AlexNet was a entry by one of the competing institution. They submitted in the ImageNet competition. ImageNet is a yearly competition that is organized for computer vision to classify the objects in a large set of images. So the whole push of deep learning and generative AI came from there. And then 2017, when this attention mechanism, the paper was released, that is where the whole era of generative AI started. That if I so okay, so let me, instead of because anyhow after few classes we are going to have a deep dive into this particular topic, so I cut short and give a summary answer to what Ritesh had asked. That different LLMs produce different kind of output because their internal mechanism through which they are able to generate the text is created differently. For example, some LLM is using a billion parameters, where every parameter is responsible for identifying something in basically responsible for creating a new text or identifying what I have said. Okay, think about these parameters as the configurations that are possible. Okay, if you might have I don't know the recent graduates, but all other people may have seen the old radio, the not the FM radio that we have in the mobile phone, but the old style radio, where there used to be a physical tuner to tune the radio to a particular frequency, and then we get the
Transistor.
signal there. Yeah. So basically that knob, that is the setting. So every LLM, whether it's a chat GPT, the underlying LLM is the GPT, basically GPT architecture, or you take the XAI, that is Elon Musk Grok, or you take Claude. There are tons of such things now available. Each of these are trained on a certain amount of data. Most of these data is common, but they have different configuration parameters, different knobs that you can tune to get different kind of output. So you, in a particular setting, they will produce a text which is more romantic. If you change the knobs a little bit, they will produce the text which is more poetic. You change the knobs again, they will produce the text which looks very professional. Okay, so all these LLMs, basically where they differ, what kind of model parameters they have. So you might have heard that this is a 7 billion parameter, this is a 11 billion parameter, this is a 70 billion parameter model is there. Then same model available in 3 different variants. So this is a 70 billion, then there is a 7 billion also available for mobile devices. Okay, where like higher the number of parameters are there, more time it takes, more energy it takes, energy in the sense electricity, energy in the sense also training time. As the number of parameters are increasing, the model size is increasing, and with the model size, what they consume is also increasing. So for the mobile phone devices, for edge devices, for embedded systems, a smaller version is also released, where accuracy gets impacted, but the task is still done to a satisfactory level. Okay, so I hope I am able to give some answer. We will have a deep dive on this particular thing in next few classes. All right, so now what we will do, we will take a 10 minutes break here and we will join again. Let's meet at 8:05, 5 past 8. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing that we want to do is the introduction of all the participants. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we will set up the GitHub. I have got the email addresses. So when you go to your profile, from the top right corner on your profile icon, if you click, you will find that there is a tab called settings. Go to settings, and there you will see on the left hand side menus, you will see something called SSH and GPG keys. Okay.
No, it's not there for me, I think. Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
I
If
think
it's not there, then fine, we will create it. If it is there, that means you have at some point you have created SSH keys. But if you are no longer using it and they are no more required, go ahead and you can delete it. But ensure that you are you don't need those keys, right? Otherwise, you will blame me that you have just unnecessarily created 15 minutes of extra work. There is no harm if you delete this. There is no harm here, but don't delete it from your own system. On GitHub, if you delete, there is no problem. It will simply add the additional one. Okay. Now,
And Vinay, just to know, so the keys that you are going to create now, is that a PowerShell that you are using? Like which one?
yeah, you can use PowerShell if you are on Windows. PowerShell is also fine. If you are on Mac, your normal shell prompt is also fine. On Linux also, your bash prompt is also fine.